Let's talk about Bill Maher. He's a name you've probably heard, whether you're a fan of stand-up comedy, late-night television, or just someone who likes a good debate. Maher has carved out a unique space in American pop culture, blending sharp wit with a relentless curiosity about the world around him. You know him, comedian, host of Real Time, and a guy who loves to challenge big ideas, especially religion. He's made a career out of poking at the things most people tiptoe around, and he does it with a mix of humor and skepticism that's hard to ignore. He's not just cracking jokes, he's genuinely curious about why people believe what they do. Maher's interviews and monologues often dig beneath the surface, searching for the logic, or lack thereof, behind deeply held beliefs. Maher's fascination with Mormonism stands out. Maybe it's because its history is recent and easy to fact-check. Or maybe it's the boldness of its claims that draws him in, making it a perfect subject for his brand of investigative comedy. He approaches faith like a detective, poking at stories that sound unbelievable to him. He's not content to just accept things at face value. He wants to see the evidence, connect the dots, and ask the questions others might avoid. For Maher, nothing is off-limits. If a belief is true, it should stand up to questions and even a little teasing. He believes that humor is a tool for truth, and that laughter can reveal what's really going on beneath the surface. When he talks about Mormonism, he's not a theologian or historian. He's a comedian with a platform, unafraid to ask awkward questions. He's willing to be the one in the room who says, "Wait, does that really make sense?" He compares religious origin stories, asking his audience, "Do you see what I see?" By putting these stories side by side, he invites viewers to think critically, to laugh, and maybe to reconsider what they've always accepted. Maher's style is all about logic and common sense, but with a smirk and a punchline. He's not just trying to make you laugh, he's trying to make you think, even if it's uncomfortable. He's the friend at dinner who asks what everyone else is thinking but won't say out loud. You know, the one who brings up the elephant in the room and then cracks a joke to break the tension. That's the Bill Maher effect. He gets people talking about things they'd rather ignore. He sparks debates, sometimes heated, but always interesting, and he's not afraid to ruffle a few feathers along the way. Whether you agree with him or not, he makes sure the conversation happens. He's a catalyst, pushing people to confront ideas they might otherwise avoid, and that's a rare quality in today's media landscape. He's not out to be mean, he's just genuinely puzzled and wants to understand. His questions come from a place of curiosity, not cruelty, and that's what makes his approach so compelling. And if the answers don't add up, well, that's where the comedy comes in. He finds the absurdity, highlights it, and lets the audience decide what to make of it. Maher's approach: question everything, laugh at the absurd, and never let a sacred cow go unexamined. He's relentless in his pursuit of the truth, but always with a wink and a smile. He keeps the conversation alive, one punchline at a time. In a world where so many topics are off-limits, Bill Maher reminds us that sometimes the best way to understand something is to laugh at it, and then talk about it. Before we dive into Maher's critiques, let's take a moment to break down what Mormonism actually is, and why it's such a unique part of American religious history. Officially, it's called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, often shortened to LDS or just the Mormon Church. It's one of the fastest-growing Christian movements in the world, with millions of members across continents. The church was founded in the 1820s by a young man named Joseph Smith. He claimed that during a time of religious confusion, God the Father and Jesus Christ appeared to him and told him that all existing churches had strayed from the truth. According to Smith, an angel named Moroni visited him and revealed the location of golden plates buried in upstate New York. Smith said he translated these plates into what became known as the Book of Mormon, a new volume of scripture. The faith teaches that ancient Israelites traveled to the Americas centuries ago, and that after his resurrection, Jesus Christ himself visited these people, offering them guidance and teachings. Among its unique beliefs, Mormons teach that God has a physical, perfected body, unlike the more abstract concept of God in many other Christian denominations. They also believe that families can be together forever, not just in this life but in the afterlife, a core part of their faith and culture. And in its early days, the church practiced polygamy, with some members having multiple wives, a controversial chapter that still shapes public perceptions. Today, the LDS Church is a global faith, recognized for its missionary work, tight-knit communities, humanitarian efforts, and a strong emphasis on family values and service. So when Bill Maher critiques Mormonism, he's not just poking fun at old stories or outdated practices, he's questioning the foundation of a living, evolving worldwide faith tradition. That's why his jokes often hit a nerve, sparking strong reactions from both believers and critics alike. Here's where Maher really digs in, turning up the heat on some of the most eyebrow-raising claims in Mormon history. The golden plates? Maher finds the story of Joseph Smith discovering ancient treasure with angelic help almost too fantastical to believe. He points out that according to the story, these plates were the foundation of an entire religion. Yet no one but Smith ever actually saw them. The fact that the plates conveniently disappeared, leaving only Smith's word, is a detail Maher can't help but highlight with a skeptical grin. Then there's the claim that the Garden of Eden was located in Missouri, a detail that sounds more like a plot twist from a fantasy novel than a religious doctrine. Maher also points to the belief that God has a physical body, which to him stretches the boundaries of what most people would consider plausible. These ideas, he argues, aren't just unusual. They challenge the very definition of faith versus fiction, blurring the line between spiritual belief and imaginative storytelling. And then there's polygamy. Maher frames it as suspiciously convenient for Joseph Smith, suggesting it's a classic example of a religious leader using supposed divine revelation to justify personal desires. He doesn't shy away from calling out how these revelations often seem to benefit Smith directly. For Maher, all these elements combine into a narrative that truly tests the limits of people's credulity. He's genuinely amazed that so many intelligent, well-meaning people are willing to accept these stories at face value. But Maher isn't just poking fun. He's inviting viewers to question the logic and evidence behind the faith's origin story, encouraging a deeper look at what we choose to believe. Maher's weapon of choice is comedy. He wraps skepticism in jokes, using sarcasm and pop culture, like referencing South Park's All About the Mormons episode, to make his points. In his documentary Religulous, he visits Salt Lake City, asking blunt questions and letting the awkwardness speak for itself. Comedy lets him say what others won't, lowering defenses and opening up tough conversations. For Maher, if a belief can't survive a few jokes, maybe it's not that strong. His humor isn't just for laughs, it's a way to get people thinking. That's the heart of his approach. Maher's interest in Mormonism got political when Mitt Romney ran for president. Suddenly, Mormon beliefs weren't just private, they were part of a national debate. Maher questioned whether someone who believes the Garden of Eden was in Missouri should be president, arguing that faith shapes judgment and policy. He pointed out the irony of evangelical voters supporting Romney, despite doubts about Mormonism, suggesting politics often trumps doctrine. For Maher, Romney's candidacy made Mormonism a matter of public concern, not just personal faith. His critiques became more urgent. This wasn't just about old stories, but real-world consequences. And, as always, controversy followed. Maher's critiques spark strong reactions. Fans see him as a truth-teller, challenging powerful institutions and promoting critical thinking. Critics, especially many Mormons, see his jokes as disrespectful and oversimplified, accusing him of religious bigotry. There's a middle ground. People who may not agree with Maher but defend his right to question and joke. Love him or hate him, Maher forces a reaction. You can't ignore him. He puts faith and skepticism on the table, making people decide where they stand. His comedy starts conversations that ripple far beyond his show. Whether he's a hero or a villain, he gets people thinking. And in a world where so much goes unquestioned, that's a powerful thing. That's the real Bill Maher effect.